Welcome in, Kuma Crew. It is once again your favourite friendly despair bear, Annakuma, and I'm here again with another demo review, because you know you love them. Today we're looking at LF Vision's dark horror adventure game, Darwake, Awakening from the Nightmare. It is much more an action-adventure game in line with something like Little Nightmares and Creepy Tales, with the more cartoony 2D look of Creepy Tales. You don't know Creepy Tales? You should. I played one after getting the key from Keymailer last year, and it was a fantastic experience. So, with that being said, I'm obviously very excited for Darwake, right? To begin with, these games are very simple premises. They are horror games, because it's a very good medium for the horror game genre, and it sees the main character trying to escape from his own little nightmare. We see his family crying over him lying in bed before going inside his head to the nightmare he's trapped in. From the get-go, the world is strange and creepy. It makes great use of the backgrounds and the foregrounds. You'll have butterflies floating in front of you, while some multi-headed eyeless beast with skin basically folding in on itself stares at you from behind a tree. Maybe it's just 3 people. Either way, it was creepy. You don't have much to do other than to keep moving forward, and that is how simple these games tend to be. Whilst Little Nightmares is more in a 3D space, these games purely run in a 2D space, so the puzzles are very much environmental and platform based, and it is about how to get past whatever is in front of you on this one plane, or sometimes what's behind you and chasing you, still on this one plane. Our first major problem will be birds, because of course it would be birds. So you have to figure out how to get past them. It gives you a very decent look at how this game will play going forward. Darwake has a good variety in the opening minutes. The demo only takes about 15 minutes, but it shows all it needs to show in those 15 minutes. Its world is slightly fantastical. Think American McGee's Alice. We're in a forest with wooden structures and these giant beasts cowering behind trees and watching over us. Most puzzles are based on moving boxes, hiding on time, or outrunning death. It's a very simple concept that just works really well in the horror genre. That being said, it also doesn't work well to keep that horror. For example, the first run away from something section. It is all about tight precision jumps, and I died a handful of times to this bunny thing. By the time I got over this jump, which wasn't very long mind you, I was kind of over it being scary. Again, later on there's another bigger monster, and it becomes more frustrating than horror, but honestly, I don't think that's a giant problem. These creatures are meant to unnerve you. They are meant to scare you at first, but the game is meant to be a challenge too, and watch the bunny run its course, and the real fear becomes just trying to make these jumps in general. And then this guy got annoying. That annoyance didn't make the horror redundant. Just because the bunny was kinda at the end of its section, doesn't mean that this guy didn't make me jump when I first encountered him running towards me in the background. Creepy Tales and Little Nightmares, which guys, you know me, I'll talk about them way too much in comparison to this in this video, so sorry about that. They both have the same thing going for them though. You'll die time and time again trying to sort out some puzzle, but that doesn't take away from how scary the world they created is. You'll always fear for whatever is around the corner, even if what is around the corner is as simple as the same character. It doesn't stop being scary for me personally, just because it becomes harder. Not everyone feels that way though, and it very much is the same with sneaking puzzles in horror. Some people feel when the spook has happened, and you are now doing the same sneaking puzzle for the 100th time, that the game has lost its horror edge. But I feel these games are fast enough to figure out the puzzles, and look good enough that it doesn't really affect the games as much. What Darwake does really well though, is its style. The monsters look terrifying without being over the top. They are beautifully designed and just have enough creep to them. That being said, it is also beautiful, like in the general beautiful way. And there are moments in the game where you can just stop and look at a field of roses. We get this owl with a woman's face, which is weird, but at the same time offers a little light of hope and humanity in a world crawling with monsters. The game is just nice to stop and look at, even with the creepy monsters roaming in the woods. One thing to know is that the gameplay will suck. Okay, suck might be a little harsh, but it will be precise, and it will feel stiff. I've played a few games like this, and they always do end up feeling like you need the patience of a god to make certain well-timed jumps, and the platforming in the demo felt a little awkward. It is my biggest concern, but at the same time, it kind of is their charm. I'm not too worried about it being difficult to control because the overall journey tends to be worth it. None of the puzzles will probably be too difficult, and it just expects you to think about what is happening. For example, with this guy, there's a few things you need to learn whilst running from him, and you won't pick it all up when he first appears. You might not pick it up from the second or third or even fourth time, but you'll learn his patterns and figure out what the game wants bit by bit, and before long, you'll be dragging his carcass around like a boss. These games are much more for the experience, and I feel Darwake will be an interesting one for sure. These games don't tend to be very long, and I do look forward to playing it, very much so. It has no release date, but I do hope it's out for October, so I can add it to my must-play list for spooky games. But we have come to the end of my dream for today. If you want to support this here bear, then please feel free to like this video, comment on how scary you find bunnies in the comments below, and subscribe, because bigger numbers make this bear happy. Yeah. You can also find me streaming over at twitch.tv/Annakuma 5 days a week, so if you want to watch me play these games, then feel free to give me a follow. As always, it is my full-time job, so I'd love to see you over there. Till next time though, thank you so much for watching, as always, and bye-bye!